That does it for Peacock Sunday Night Football Final. Chris, we got to stop now. Chris didn't swear. I think if we went for another 5 minutes, he may have done it.
Show me that Brady highlight again, I'll swear. I'll give Peacock something to show tomorrow.
That's right. I don't know why, but when I get on the Peacock postgame show, I don't say swears. I don't know why. I could probably get away with it. I don't know. I'm afraid the bosses are probably still watching, and that's maybe an important show. Yeah, they're a little dialed in right there.
And then they might take it away from everything. They go, you can't do it on the Peacock
right.
show.
I gotta
you
worry
can't do
about
it on
that.
Unbuttoned.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I know. Right. I got to worry about that because I need my swearing. All right. It's part of my life. It's part of who I am.
Yeah.
But hello, everybody. It's Chris Sims. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here. We are here. We're two guys that are tired, that were up late, but we're just grinding through the football season. Week 5 in the books. We grind on a Monday.
We do grind. I mean, we're not doing anything that physical.
No.
But I do feel like I feel a little bit more tired this morning.
You look tired today.
Right? What happened?
I don't know.
Why? What?
Well, you went to bed at 2-something in the morning. And then, it does take energy to be on air and think clearly and be, quick on your feet.
Yeah.
And then speak English the proper way, which I broke down a few times on the postgame show.
I was just going to say, if people were watching, they're like, you guys were thinking clearly and were quick on your feet last night? Could have fooled me.
Yeah, we had our moments. We definitely did.
No, it was a whole lot of fun. And we'll do it again next week, too.
We will.
We'll have the quick turnaround. But
double duty. You're at the big desk for the pregame show.
Yep.
And then it's you and me on the post-game show once again, which is awesome. You doing any horse racing before to start the day?
There was no more horse racing. I did do that yesterday.
Yes, you did, yeah.
But, yeah, that'll be the Breeders' Cup coming up early November. So that's the next time I do that.
That's the next time you're doing that?
Don't have to. It's all football all the time.
Good.
And some Premier League soccer.
But
no, it was all football yesterday. And I caught up pretty quick in doing the show with you. We did it again. The NFL did it again. We had some crazy results. And we're still to the point where, some teams are separating.
Right.
But you look like where we are now from where we were at the start of the year. I don't know that a whole lot has been learned at this point. That's a crazy thing about it. We had so many, I think 18 2-2 teams coming into week 5.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone's really separated themselves too much.
I think it started a little. I do think I hear what you're saying, and it's an odd year where the Eagles are the only team that seem to be, dominant and are undefeated.
Yeah, barely
at this
won,
point.
though.
Barely, right? You're right. I think it still goes back to all the things we've said. And then, the way games are managed, that makes things crazy. And, listen, this is where the NFL is awesome, where we all love it. Because you can be let's just take the Minnesota game against the Bears, for instance. It's total domination. All right, it's, I believe, 20-3. Let me look just to get the specific here, but I just want to make the point here. This is how crazy and close the league is. It's 21-3. The Bears go on a good drive before the half and get a touchdown. It's 21-10. Okay, it's 21-10. Vikings are still in control, but there wasn't a lot of time left in the half. So Minnesota doesn't do anything before halftime. They have to kick it to the Bears to start the third quarter.
Right.
Bears put together a good drive, touchdown, and you're going, wait, they've been getting their ass whooped the whole day, and now it's 21-17, and we're sitting here like that, and then it becomes, 21-19. Sorry, it was 21-16, then 21-19, but it's just, it's the league is so evenly packed together with its talent. And one mistake, one bad drive. Oh, wait, 2 bad drives? I don't care who you are. All of a sudden, usually that other team that was down, they're ultra focused. Their backs are against the wall. You've let off the gas pedal a little bit, and all of a sudden you're going, oh my gosh, we were controlling a game that, now we're in a dogfight, and we had a few of those yesterday.
Yeah, Bears went up by a point with 9.5 minutes to go. And if you're a Vikings fan, though, you're saying right now, you're like, well, yeah, that's what we do.
But. You're right. It is what the Vikings do. But this is like around the league a little bit. You can go to the Packers and go to the same thing in that conversation.
Bucks.
The Bucks, exactly right. We just talked about the Bears in that game. All right.
Titans.
You can get into the Titans, exactly, controlling early. They're going up and down the field. They look good. The Eagles and the Cardinals. So what we were just talking about there.
Chargers?
No,
Did you say that?
Maybe not, but to a degree. I mean, and then even last night with the Bengals-Ravens game, there it is 10-0. The Ravens are driving. We're going, holy crap. Ravens are controlling the game. And all of a sudden we're going, whoa, the Ravens are barely hanging on here for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just so it's a crazy league. And it's, I think, because of the rules, because of the way the games are managed, the quarterbacks, how explosive they are with the receivers, and we can go down the field in 3 plays and, a minute and 8 seconds. I think that's what adds to the craziness a little bit, too.
Chargers were up 14-3.
Yeah, they were up
so
14-3. Yeah, good. You're right. Good. Push back on it.
That was another one.
You, Chris. You're wrong.
So our promise to you, the homies, is that we'll go through every game, which we just did right there. We went through a lot of them.
Peace out.
We're tired.
Man, I'm going to need to take a nap. We're out of here.
We're going to go through every game, the big storylines, and then we'll dig even deeper looking for treasure on Wednesday. But we're going to dig pretty deep here today. And we'll start with our game on NBC. Finally, we had a game that went down to the wire.
Yeah.
We had a good game last week. Patrick Mahomes did magic, and that's always good to have on your network.
Right.
But this is the first time that we had a game, 2-2 teams going at it, went down to the wire. And it was kind of cool because Joe Burrow led his team back late in the game.
Right.
Touchdown. Went ahead.
Right.
And then Lamar Jackson led his team down the field. So it was both quarterbacks kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
But at the end, let's start with this. Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is he? This is 61 consecutive field goals made in the fourth quarter or overtime. No one has ever done that in the history of the National Football League. And you said it on our Peacock show. You go, I think he is the best kicker in NFL history.
I've never seen anything like it, where it's just it seems to be automatic, 99% of the time. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think we're literally getting to that type of number. And then it just doesn't seem to matter, like the 55-yarder seems as slam dunk as the 25-yarder. It just doesn't matter. It's like right through the uprights, right down the middle. The shit never curves. It's just dead on. And yeah, I've never seen a foregone conclusion like him. I grew up in the era of Morton Anderson and some of those kickers that were certainly money, and you were like, oh man, my dad and the Giants, they might lose here. It's Morton Anderson from 50. He's going to knock this in. Yeah. So, but this is like to another extent. And then it's also like 60 is almost automatic with him.
60 is the new 50.
It is.
I feel like in the NFL.
I think I would agree
see that
with
from
that.
A lot of kickers where we have the meter on Sunday Night Football where it would have been good from.
Yeah.
It seems like almost all of them are like would have been good from 60, 61,
you're right.
62.
You're right. Oh, the good kickers, you're right. You do see that. Anything they kick from like 47 on, you're like, well, good from 63.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is special. He's a weapon for their football team. And we know he's a bright spot for their football team. And I think there were some bright spots for them in general last night. I'm not sure it all carries over here. It might have been the matchup, right? It's a matchup league. Mm-hmm. But here's the one thing I like about the Ravens from last night. One, we saw a semblance of a running game, and you know what I mean. I'm not talking about Lamar scrambling around. We saw a real running game. Like J.K. Dobbins ripped off a few runs. Even some of Lamar's best runs of the night were quarterback design runs, not scrambling. So that was encouraging. I know Ronnie Stanley came back and looked good early, and then he came out, must have re-aggravated his injury or whatever.
I think Harbaugh said that was part of the plan, maybe.
It was just to play him a little and get him in and out and just to count reps, I guess. I wondered if that was the issue too. All right, so either way, but that's on a positive, uprise. Yep. And then, to do it last night and win the game too without your best receiver, right? I think you look at that, and the defense played good. I guess my point is it's the first game we didn't just have to go, can Lamar save us on every play, on every minute of the game, and do everything for us all the time? It was actually a team win for the first time this year, I felt like, for the Ravens.
Yeah.
And that's positive. Now, I don't know if they can continue that. I don't know. I think the offensive stuff is good. The defensive stuff, where I want to go.
Yes.
I think they were fortunate they played one of the worst O-lines in football, and that front four could get there against that crew. And they didn't have to blitz and play crazy defenses like we've seen them get burned in the last few weeks. But either way, they adjusted. We were watching the game going, hey, I was showing you, right? Like, look, they're playing zone. It's too deep. They're not playing man-to-man. They're not doing crazy blitzes. And, it kept them in the game with the Bengals, or more than kept them in the game, kept them in control for a better part of the football game.
Yeah, if you listened to this podcast last week, you know where Chris is going with this one because he's talked about the Bengals offense being basic.
Yeah.
No movement.
Right.
And so if you're a defense, you can play it a little more simple. Right? And if you're the Ravens, you said, I don't like the Ravens front four. I don't think they can get to the quarterback. They need to do some more things. Well, against the Cincinnati Bengals,
exactly,
they can get to the quarterback with their front four.
That was a huge part of the football game for me right there because they never had to go more than a handful of times the whole game and go, okay, it's Jamar Chase on Marlon Humphrey, man-to-man. The safety's kind of on the other side of the field. Oh, gosh, it's a big play. And then T. Higgins got a little banged up, so they didn't have to deal with that. But still, I don't think that was the theme of the night where they had to worry about, oh, gosh, here's Marcus Peters. He's one-on-one with T. Higgins, right? they're going to make a big explosive play or get a big pass interference play that happens and changes it. So I thought that was positive. But yes, to that point, and I want people to continue to watch this with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're way too reliant on the football players. Their defense is awesome and game plan specific, and I respect that about them. Their offense needs to be more like that. Ahmed, you've heard me say it now, and I think you're starting to see it too. I mean, we watched last night. We talked to Rodney on the post-game show about lacks of formations and shifts, right? And he was like, that's what I want if I'm playing an offense like that, because I don't have to think. We don't have to check. We can play fast, right? He said all those things.
Yep.
And then, you know, the other thing, and you, again, you tell me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm not trying to sit here on my high horse, but there's Jamar Chase. He, to me, is in the conversation for the best receiver in football. He runs 3 routes. All he runs is slants and goes and a shallow cross. That's all he does. They don't ever pick for him. He's never in a bunch and gets to a crazy release like the Justin Jeffersons or the Tyreek Hills of the world. And that, to me, is where they're leaving a lot of meat left on the bone there. And it's got to change. It's got to. Because they're not going to get to where they want to get to. They're going to beat a lot of the teams they should beat and all that kind of crap. But the marquee teams, they're not going to get it done just going, we broke the huddle, this is what we're lining up in, and you kind of know the 5 or 6, 8 plays we're going to go to when we're in this formation. And then that's where they're dropping the ball, in my opinion.
Still could have won the game, lost by 2, but
Right.
it could have been a wider margin of victory because you noted on our Peacock show, Lamar Jackson, he had some guys wide open.
Right.
He misfired.
He misfired.
You know, it wasn't the best
game.
throwing game.
Right.
Ravens, in a lot of ways, may have been lucky to win this game because they left some points on the field.
They left some opportunities there to where we went, oh, they're about to control the game. And then as soon as like we were kind of saying that, it was like, they let him off the hook. Oh, he missed a post down the middle. Oh, he missed a wide open guy on 4th and 1 when they did the sprint right option pass. Then of course up 10-0, driving the ball in Justin Tucker land, where you go, okay, they're going to go up 13-0 at the very least here, and he has a wide open deep out route, and he just missed the throw. The ball, even when you watch it in slow motion, it kind of came out of his hand funny and fluttered. Interception. And the game was really never the same after that, right? It was 10-0. They went down and scored, made it 10-7. And we were kind of like, wow, they were controlling the game. And here we are. It's 10-10 at halftime, and we'll see what happens in the second half.
Isaac is mad at the Bengals offense.
Yeah.
He goes, Zach Taylor. Isaac is a Twitter
follower. Is that his
follower.
name?
Isaac.
Okay, Isaac.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. A Twitter follower of ours.
Yeah, okay.
You're like, who's this Isaac you're talking
about?
Well,
I thought his whole thing was Isaac is mad at the offense, right?
What do you mean? Oh.
You know what I mean? Like that was his whole Twitter handle. Isaac is mad at the offense. When you said it so. I was like, wow, he went all in on this.
Isaac,
yes,
he's mad at the offense, or she. Zach Taylor stinks at game management, runs a reverse on 2nd and goal, goes for a 4th down when the Bengals O-line stinks. It's more of a statement than a question.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I think there's some real things there that they need to readjust, as you've heard me say. And listen, I'm not going to fault them for the reverse play. We saw that play work twice yesterday for other teams. It was the same thing.
A double reverse for the Giants. Maybe they needed one more.
Right. Well, wasn't this double too? Wasn't this a little bit? It was Philly. I thought I said that to you. I kind of went that. That was Philly. It was the same play.
Yeah.
And then not only the Giants yesterday, but there's another team that did it yesterday too, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll get to it at some point.
Bengals tried the shovel pass too that the Chiefs have done.
Exactly right. Now that one was like, that looked like it was like, hey, it's cool and all that. But the Chiefs draw these things up to know, wait, we're going to get this look, and we're good at this already because we do shovel passes even when we're on 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. And they know the looks and what they want to do. That, to me, looked more of like, this is a cool play. It's cool. I don't really care what they line up in. It's just cool and it'll work. And it's like, well, they lined up in a fucking thing where there was 6 guys in the middle of the field. It's cool, but not against that defense. So, again, yeah, I understand what he's saying. To me, that's not as concerning as the middle of the field stuff, like you heard me complain about last week with the Dolphins game and all that. They let teams off the hook. It's annoying, and I would like to see them expand that, play calling and formation use a little bit more.
Final comment comes from Beth Thornycroft. She goes, stop, all caps, stop calling the team the Bengals. They're not an 80s pop band.
Okay.
Smiley
I'll do my
face.
best, Beth. I'll do my best, Beth. I'm not it's like hard in like real time. I'm emotional. I'm talking right now, so I'm not thinking about it.
No, don't. It's your thing.
Bengals.
It's your thing. Bengals. Bengals. I mean, just go
I know.
Bengals.
All
I
right.
like it.
All right, thanks.
I
Sorry.
almost think they should just go with Bengals.
All right.
Doesn't it kind of sound better?
Sorry, Beth. Don't hold me to it. Don't be mad at me.
Bang the drum for the Bengals.
Bengals, the big play Bengals.
Like it. I say go with it. Beth, I'm sorry. He's going to keep doing it. The Eagles are just going to keep winning, I guess, is what they're going to do. Even though it was close, maybe closer than some people thought against the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray had a chance late. Matt Amendola just going from team to team, missing kicks.
losing games for teams.
I feel bad for him.
I know.
Kinda.
Poor guy. I didn't even register he was there.
I didn't either
until the game was going on. And I was going, oh, damn, that's Matt Amendola. Oh, shit, okay, all right. And then he's lining up at the end of the game, and I'm going, oh, my gosh, fuck Amendola.
Matt Prater was out, so it was Matt Amendola, and he missed the kick. It was just a 43-yarder at the end of the game, right after they showed all the warm-ups.
Of him hitting it the same way.
Yeah, missing them all.
Right? Pushing it right, where it all went down the middle and then does this weird slice to the right, which is, if I remember correctly, how he missed them in Kansas City in the Indianapolis game when they lost that one.
Maybe he's got another skill out there. I'm sure he's great at other
Well,
things.
he might have to start practicing it soon. He keeps this up. He's going to have to find that other skill.
Eagles pull it out, though. Jalen Hurts, the 7th game for him with 2 or more rushing touchdowns, tied for the second most by a quarterback in the Super Bowl era. Cam Newton had 10. But, yeah, they did just enough.
Just enough.
They weren't impressive.
No.
But I guess maybe, Chris, do they have to win some games like this? And do you learn more? Are you more impressed with them, when they're not playing their best, still getting a win in a game like this?
I think there is something to say about that. I do. I think, all in all, it's a team that can beat you a lot of different ways for sure. I think that's the positive thing about them. And, I think that, defensively, I think they're kind of still trying to find their way a little bit. But still, another game that we can get into here and go, it was 14-0. They're kind of controlling the football game, right? Then finally Arizona makes a stop and gets them pinned back in their own area. And then, okay, the Cardinals kind of put together an ugly drive, right? A little short run pass, short run here, boom, boom, boom. And then, hey, we got a freaky receiver in the middle of the field, Hollywood Brown. He catches the ball and shit, he makes a guy miss and makes a cut, and he's got 3 rockets up his ass, and all of a sudden you're going, oh, it's 14-7, right? And then the Eagles get the ball back and don't do anything. And I think the Cardinals don't do anything. And then the Eagles don't do anything. And then the Cardinals get it back and they fake a punt. All right. This is, to me, one of the big points of the game that really got them back in it. They fake a punt on the 4th down, continues to drive. They end up getting a field goal in that drive. And then from that point on, it was kind of a football game. But my thing with the Eagles, and you heard me say this last night, so this is no surprise. And I even went when I was eating breakfast just again, because I'm like, wait, is my mind telling me this right? The Eagles are too pass happy, in my opinion. And that was my issue last week when we broke down the Jaguars game, right? They were down 14-0 early, and I was going, damn, all they did was they're playing pass defense. And then it was finally like the Eagles got down. They're like, all right, wait. They got the 2 safeties are like 20 yards down the field. Why aren't we running it? And they ran it, and they ran it, and they ran it, and they ran it. And all of a sudden we were sitting there going, whoa, they're up by a touchdown on the Jaguars, and they couldn't stop it. To me, that's where they drop the ball a little bit right now. We know the team is really damn good, right? The Cardinals are a pain in the ass, and especially when they played the way they did yesterday. Murray was patient. He was they're the most boring spread football team you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it's all it is a bunch of 4-yard throws. But if he's patient and does that, that's what lends them to 16-play, 91-yard field goal drive, right? And 12-play, 90-yard ugly touchdown drive to make it 17-all. Nothing's easy for them. But, Kyler kind of just played it patient and picked them apart, and they hung around in the football game. And, yeah, I just think the Eagles dropped the ball a little bit there. And when they do that, that's why I think you didn't see, like, A.J. Brown's name called a whole lot yesterday, because they never forced the Cardinals into, whoa, you better stop the run and leave some guys one-on-one on the outside and make some big plays like that. And that's where I'd like to see the Eagles adjust a little bit.
There were not a whole lot of explosive plays, period, in this game.
No.
There were a lot of short passes. There were 13 screen attempts by Jalen Hurts in the game. He was 12 for 13 for 70 of his 239 yards. Dallas Goedert was his leading receiver. But there's some concern about this Eagles team first half and then second half. In the first half, they've scored 106 points. Second half, they've only scored 29.
Yeah, they seem to die out.
Dan Sulis says, what did the Cardinals do on D to slow the Eagles down? Do you think it's a real problem that the Eagles seem to have an issue in the second half?
I do think there's something there. That's where I do think they have to play through the run a little bit more. I think it'll help them out. Again, I feel like they fall into the we're going to tear you up with our weapons, and Jalen Hurts is going to run and scramble, and, he'll make some big plays down the football field, instead of just like, wait, the best thing about our football team is our O-line. It's physical. It's overwhelming. We can chew up the clock. We can keep your team off the field for a little bit. They don't seem to do that in the second half of football games right now. I'm not overly concerned, but it's one of those things, too, where it does seem like they kind of run out of tricks in the second half, or, we had a few game plan things we exposed you with in the first half, and now you made adjustments in the second half, and we're just going back to the meat and potatoes of our offense. That's kind of the sense I get. But either way, I'm not concerned with it. And, again, to that question, which is a good question, and it's certainly on my mind too, let's see when somebody really pushes them a little bit too. A lot of these times they're kind of in control of the game in the second half, and there is no need to push the envelope and do that. They've seemed to answer the bell as much as they got to in every game. It's kind of the way, like, oh, wait, it's back to a game? All right, we put a drive together, and now we're in control again. They've kind of had those answers all year long, and I'm not worried about it, I guess is what I'm saying. And this week will be an interesting matchup with the Cowboys for sure because of that.
Oh, my gosh. Sunday Night Football on NBC. That's another good one for us. Good starts for the Eagles in their games for the most part. We saw
screens, you talk about it. I know. It's just there was lack of big playability, I guess, was what we saw in the game. And to me, the way the big plays come is when they run the ball and Jalen Hurts, gets his handful of quarterback design runs. That's when they're the most dangerous. And that's when I thought they were amazing last week against Jacksonville and really rolling. I mean, Jacksonville didn't know what to do because they were getting dominated at the line of scrimmage.
Arizona's having a different season than they had last year.
Yeah.
They did not lose their third game last year until week 14. So Cliff Kingsbury heard all the doubters, the naysayers. They were like, you can start, but you can't finish. He's like, I'll do the opposite.
I'm going to not start, and we'll see how we finish.
Yeah.
They're 2-3. They're not out of it.
I think 2-3, I think is pretty good for them, honestly.
Right.
And they almost beat the last undefeated team in football. But they remain undefeated, and this NFC East looks really, really good because we get into our upset section. Pete has indicated
a new section
These are the upsets of the week. I don't know. I know according to Vegas this was an upset. I don't consider this really an upset, though. I'm not that surprised.
No.
Cowboys beat the Rams 22-10, was not even really that close. I mean, for the most part, you had a team that rushes the passer and is as dangerous there as maybe any team in football versus a Rams team that can't protect Matthew Stafford. And as Matthew Stafford, who seems not like the same Matthew Stafford from last year, what'd you think of the Cowboys' dominance of the Rams in this game?
Well, they smothered them. I mean, like, you said it right. In full transparency, I picked the Cowboys to win 20-17. I mean, the Rams to win 20-17. I thought this was going to be the game where Cooper Rush holds the ball too long and gets strip sacked or throws an interception because the Rams are a little more complicated on defensive side of the ball. But I clearly stated on the Thursday podcast, I said, wait. The Cowboys are better than the Rams. There's no doubt about that. So to your point, that's why you're not surprised. You're right. They are better. I just thought maybe in LA's a little desperate. I kind of just played that angle. But, like, the Rams had no fucking chance. The Rams have no chance right now. Matthew Stafford has no chance. There's nothing he can do. The fact that he was 28 of 42 for 308 and the week before against the 49ers, and the fact that he was even keeping them in the game was a miracle. That's where people got to realize. I mean, I don't know how many times yesterday I saw him make a throw or do something for a 5-yard gain, and I went, oh my gosh, he got killed, and he avoided one guy and just got a tight completion. I mean, he's getting killed on every play. They can't run the football. So the Cowboys defense just absolutely overwhelmed them. They ran the ball a little bit. Their size, too much for the Rams, who are smaller on defense and rely on speed. And the Rams are not the same. Don't sit here and hope for this turnaround this year. Don't think like they're going to get back into Super Bowl mode. They're just working out some cobwebs here. It ain't going to happen. I'm just telling you this year. The Rams are the type of team that are going to miss the playoffs, or if they get in, that's going to be as like the 7th seed. There's not enough there on their football team to sit there and go, ooh, they're really great at that. Oh, they're great at that too. There's not. They can't run the ball. They can't protect the passer. They have lack of weapons that scare you on the offensive side of the ball right now. Allen Robinson's basically a third receiver. It's not going to turn around either. So everybody just get off of it. It's not. It's not going to change. He might have a good statistical game here and there, but it's not going to be what you think Allen Robinson should be or should have been going into the year. And then defensively, they're not the same either. You know, we've talked about the role players they're missing there. And the Cowboys are a team that, you know, we undervalued, you and I, in our roster thing and everything. Yeah. It's just they're more physically dominant, and their creativity on defense, along with the physical dominance, just adds to a formula of like, wow, they're fun to watch even when the game's ugly. And again, Cooper Rush didn't have to do very much, but so be it. That's the way they're playing football, and they will be better when Dak Prescott gets back 100%.
Cooper Rush, 102 yards
Oh
passing.
my gosh, they should $45 million a year. They should pay him. They should literally ask Dak Prescott, rip up your contract and give the money to Cooper Rush. He's been really good. Don't get me wrong. But you know what I'm being sarcastic about.
Yeah, hasn't made the mistake. No interceptions in this game. Tony Pollard had 1/3 basically of the carries that Zeke had in this game. He outgained him.
Yeah.
Thanks in large part to that 57-yard touchdown run. Explosive player. You've said that for a couple of years now.
Very.
Maybe their most, maybe, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he's more
Tony
explosive
Pollard.
to CeeDee. I think he's
more than CeeDee.
I think he is.
Whoa.
Well, how
you
many
think he's the most explosive player on their team?
I think him and Michael Gallup are when Gallup's totally 100%. CeeDee's to me, think about it. When do you see CeeDee catch a slant and outrun people for 60 yards? That's not his game. Yeah. He's a great, 25 yards over the middle, 15 yards over the middle, right? 20-yard out route. That's CeeDee Lamb. He's not the guy that you go, oh, shit, he's going deep on us, right? That, at least in my opinion. But, yeah, I think they need to get Tony Pollard the ball more in the run game. But this just speaks to it all. I mean, the Rams outgained the Cowboys by almost 100 yards total offense. It just shows you that their defense made plays. They block a punt.
Interception.
Right.
Yeah.
Block a punt that gave them a field goal. And they basically just go, all right, we'll run the ball. We can get a few more points. Okay. But our defense is just going to, smother them. And it doesn't matter. We don't have to take a chance or even put Cooper Rush in the situation to go, hey, you might have to fit a ball in here in a big situation. And that's what's really impressive by them. And like we've been talking about, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, I got to give him a ton of respect for what he's done as a coach and what he's doing on that side of the ball for the Cowboys.
Yep. Micah Parsons, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. Osa Odigizua.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was, I used to be able to say this because the Giants drafted, I thought it was his brother, but maybe I'm wrong. Odigizua.
Odigizua.
Okay, maybe you said that. Maybe.
Close enough.
Good. Yeah, you're not. You say, yeah, right.
I feel like I said that so great, and then you followed it up, and it just was
I'm all on
totally
you.
different.
You today, okay?
7 quarterback pressures, 1 sack, 3 hits, 3 hurries there. And Pete, no, I do not hear random dudes talking in my ear, so Pete's worried about it.
I don't either.
Switch control rooms here. So,
okay, yep.
Pete, we're good. I hear you, but you're no random dude.
No, you're no random dude.
Pete,
unfortunately, you're very demolitolitis in our life.
The Rams 1 touchdown in their last 9+ quarters. It's been a struggle for them, struggle for Matthew Stafford. But the Cowboys, I think at this point, probably looking like a playoff team. Looks like we might have been wrong on that one.
Right, no question. Did I pick the Rams? I thought I picked the Cowboys to go to the playoffs.
Maybe you did.
I'm pretty sure.
I did not.
I picked them, I think, as like a 7 seed or a 6 seed.
Maybe you
because
did.
I think I got in the conversation where we basically said, I was like, the NFC is like, I almost had to pick them by default. I didn't even know because I couldn't go with Minnesota. I'm pretty sure I picked the Cowboys. I got to look at my old notebook.
I left them off. Okay. We can always change it. You did pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You did pick the Cowboys. All right. You didn't
as a 6 seed.
Okay.
But
you also had the Rams in there, though.
Yep, I know. Yeah. Well, listen, I expect the Rams to be in that 7 seed conversation. But these teams, right? The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Bills with that defensive line, right? This is where it's a little scary for the Rams. Now, the Rams, they play the Panthers this week. which probably won't be that easy because that D-line will be able to smash their ass too, all right? But they got the 49ers and the Bucs after that. Like, the Rams, they blow this game here. They don't. The 49ers and the Buccaneers are like the worst things that they could possibly want to see coming into town. Because they're games where those defensive lines could just overwhelm them and ruin their game to where it doesn't matter what game plan McVay comes up with. They're screwed.
Man, look at this. Eagles undefeated. Cowboys really good, 4-1. And then you got the Giants
The
at 4-1.
G-Man.
Go to London.
Woo!
Drink their tea and crumpet.
Yeah, right. Gave us some superpower.
Eat their cheese.
Right. Booyah.
Beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. 27-22 was the final score. Saquon Barkley continues to go off. I think we have the numbers, the comparison between last year and this year. He has an NFL high 676 scrimmage yards this season, over 100 versus the Packers. Last year, almost caught his rushing yards last year. The yards per carry is bumped up to 5.5 this year. Of course, he was hurt last year, and I feel bad. We're sitting next to Jason Garrett in that room watching all the games, and of course, he was the offensive coordinator last year for the Giants, and he's like, yep, whole lot different team with Saquon Barkley out there and healthy. And I mean, is it any different? Is that it? I mean, we know that Brian Daboll has been great, obviously, and taking chances seems like some energy there.
Right.
But without this man, none of this happens, correct?
No way. You're exactly right. There's no way. They don't beat Tennessee in week 1 without him. They don't win yesterday without him. He's their one guy that can do above and beyond. And Daniel Jones. I'm going to throw him in there too. You say what you want. First off, that was a gutty effort again by Daniel Jones on a bad ankle. But those are the only two guys on the offensive side of the ball that be like, oh, wait, nobody blocked or whatever, and I didn't have pass protection. I ran around the end for 30 yards. Saquon, screen pass. Whoa, run, broke 24 ankles, and then gets 8 yards, and you go, whoa, that was like the most amazing 8-yard run I've ever seen. I mean, that's where he is. He's special, but I like how you put that. No way. There is no way they are where they are without Saquon Barkley. He is showing, again, why he's one of the most special people in football with the ball in his hands, and it doesn't have to be just with the run game. And that's where you got to give Daboll credit, right? They find ways every game. We're going to run the ball. We know that. We're going to throw them the ball. A few screens or even the big pass play that set up the go-ahead score touchdown, right, Ahmed? Running a shallow cross from basically the receiver position coming across the field. Yeah. Packers they lose track of him. I don't know how that happens. And then he's off to the races for a 41-yard gain on a 6-yard throw. So that's where Daboll, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, deserve a lot of credit. And like we've been saying, it's the same. Daniel Jones is efficient. Daboll is beating in his brain of like, don't make turnovers. Hold the fucking ball in the pocket. If you feel like it's collapsing, you got great speed. Go run. Stop sitting there like the Statue of Liberty, right? And then the defense makes you earn it too. It's the same thing. They have a splash of creativity. They very rarely let up big plays, and they can stop the run or at least contain the run to where they don't have to like, whoa, we need more guys in the box to do that. So that's their biggest thing, and they're just playing. They're the ugliest 4-1 football team I've ever seen. They're literally a my new thing. They're the 5-legged monster. That's what they are.
It's not that ugly.
It's pretty ugly.
You
but
think?
I do. But it's,
they've all been one-score games.
Exactly. I mean, it's the Panthers. We barely beat them. It's this game we're down. And I'm going, well, they're just going to beat us in submission. It won't happen. Yesterday was the best game of the year. I mean, that was exciting. That was. And to put the drive together at the end of the football game. And then, the plays the defense makes. Aaron Rodgers got, 2-3 shots inside the 10-yard line?
Yeah.
Negative Ghost Rider. Not against the fucking G-Men. That's right. And the G-Men are smart because you know what they knew was coming?
What?
Quick pass. Aaron Rodgers, get your hands up. Because that's all they do now is throw quick passes, and 2 tip passes on the last 2 plays of the game seal the deal for the G-Men.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 39 times.
Right.
222 total yards.
Yeah.
Nothing down the field. Still.
This is, I know, I mean, anybody that's been listening to our podcast knows this. And, I know people got at me on Twitter last week because they were like, nobody's made more explosive plays than the Packers. They have the most 20-plus yard pass plays in the league and the most 10-plus run plays. Great. They rip off a 20-yard pass play, and then they go back to 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards, and it does nothing. And then they settle for a 49-yard field goal. Whoa. Their explosive plays don't hold water. There's no merit to them. There's a difference between, we've dink and dunk, we dink and dunk, we dink and dunk, we dink and dunk, and now everybody's at the line of scrimmage. Oh, and we threw a fade down the sideline for 30 yards. Whoop-de-f***ing do. Do you think that really puts pressure on a defense? No. You know who was second in explosive plays going into last week?
Who?
The Chicago Bears. Right. So that doesn't mean jack diddly shit, all right? I know. I'm sick of everybody just looking at numbers and going, the numbers say it. They don't lie. No, numbers do lie. This is a more complicated formula than just that. Really good, explosive, aggressive offenses are always calling plays to push the envelope, be aggressive. And the quarterback, I'm going to be aggressive. Okay, it's not there. They took it away. And then you throw it underneath. That's how you keep pressure on teams. The Packers, how many weeks in a row am I going to say this? We're in control of the game, but now we're back into, we're going to run it and we're going to dink and dunk it. And wait, they're back in the football game again? It's not the way to play football in 2022. It's too conservative. It's too measured. They got too good of a quarterback to be thrown at 39 times for 222 yards. So that's my issue with them, and that's why they get in these type of games right here.
And when they have gone down the field 20 times, 20 passes on deep passes this season for Aaron Rodgers, they've only completed 4.
There you go.
So when they have tried to do it, it has not been successful.
Well, and to that point, I'm great you brought that up, because look at we talked about this on the post-game show a little bit. Their answer to go down the field is all right, they're playing man-to-man. Let's just throw a go route. He'll hit the bullseye from 55 yards away again, like it's the Packers-Patriots game. That was their answer too. Run straight, and the greatest thrower ever will just drop it in your pocket. That's their answer, and that's just not good enough. It's not going to get it done against the good teams in football. It's not. There's got to be wait, we're designing plays so Rodgers can hit a 35-yard crosser or a 45-yard post route and all that. But there's not. It's just dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Hey, they're all over our dink and dunk, so let's just send the guy down the field, straight line. Whoa. Good thing we came up with that this week. We made Dobbs run straight. I got paid $30 million as the offensive coach, and he ran straight. Whoa. Come up with something else. It drives me fucking crazy, as you could tell.
Sean All asks you, why did A.J. Dillon get fewer carries than Daniel Jones? You think that's a problem?
That's it. So,
6 carries for A.J. Dillon, 34 yards.
I don't know what it is either. I don't know if they felt like the Giants' front was big, and they felt like I would guess that was it. Giants' front's kind of big. They probably felt like Aaron Jones' speed element would be a little bit annoying and an element for them, and they wanted to keep him in the pass game. But I don't know. They kind of just lost their rhythm as a football team.
Yeah.
And the Giants took away some of the dink and dunk when they got down, 17-3 and 17-10. And then all of a sudden it was, we got a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. We're big there already. And now, okay, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to push the envelope, push the ball down the football field. And, Rodgers doesn't want to do that, and the offense doesn't want to do that. And, again, they're good, the Packers, and they're going to be in the thick of things. But when I look at them right now, I go, there's no way you're going to win the Super Bowl continuing to play like this. There's no way.
Giants are good. Their best start since they were 5-0 in 2009, and that was the year that they finished 8-8. So maybe they can. Maybe they can replicate that.
Listen, I wouldn't be shocked if it went that way.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't be. Again, we understand. I think this is the surprise of the league. This is the surprise of the league. I know people go New York football,
Agreed.
right? Exactly. And I would really go. The Jets are probably more talented than the Giants.
Ooh.
They are, but the way Dayball has managed games, their schedule has been a little more, favorable to them. They're playing the right way, and that's what's awesome about football. You coach the right way. You got the right game plan on that week. You don't mess it up. That team messes it up. Yep, you could be the worst team, 80 days in a row, but that one day, things went your way, and that's the Giants seem to have that magic right now.
The BetMGM Coach of the Year odds, Sirianni is the favorite right now, plus 150. Dayball, the second choice at plus 600.
I can understand that. I mean, really, if this continues, he should be the in the leader house, really.
No, but if they do finish 8-8, like you said,
Yeah,
they'll,
then
they'll
it
lose
won't.
steam.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt.
But you can't finish 8-8 anymore.
No, 8-9. Right. Right. Whoop, 9
or
and
1.
8.
Get a tie in there.
Yeah.
The other New York team that you say maybe is more talented.
I do think there's probably more
New
talent.
Jersey team, sorry.
Yeah.
New Jersey
no,
team.
New York team.
The Jets beat the Dolphins 40-17. Unfortunate for the Dolphins. They lost Teddy Bridgewater early in this game. He got hit, little instability, and the Dolphins of all teams are going to make sure that if there's any question about it, Teddy Bridgewater went into the concussion protocol, did not come back. So the rookie had to come in. What is it? Skylar Thompson from Kansas State. Yeah, took over. And, and it went about as well as you would think, even with all the weapons. And then Tyreek was in a walking boot after the game. So there were some issues with the Miami Dolphins. But take nothing away from the Jets. They won the game. And GW17 says to you, hey, Chris, this is the best I have felt as a Jets fan since I started watching you. Please make our segment a little longer on the pod today. And, take a look at Elijah Vera Tucker and what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, G-Dub, I gave Elijah Vera Tucker some love on the pregame show last night. I brought him up when we talk about the young studs of the New York Jets. And Elijah Vera Tucker's their best offensive lineman. He moves around. He can play guard or tackle at a pretty high level. To your point, G-Dub, I'm with you there. And then, of course, we know Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Elijah Moore. I mean, there's a lot of things to be excited about if you're a New York Jets football fan. Michael Carter, the backup or starting running, I don't know which one starts or whatever. Who gives a shit? They're both good. Sauce Gardner on that side of the ball. Got linebackers that fly around. The Whitehead, I think he's a heat-seeking missile at safety. We know the defensive line's got a little, size and speed to go with it. I think the Jets are very fun to watch. I do. And again, first off, that was a bad call on the safety with Teddy Bridgewater. That should not have been a safety. It was not intentional grounding. That was a bad call. They didn't deserve to be, off to a 2-0 lead. But, having said that and talking about the Jets, and I know it was the third-string quarterback. Listen, that was going to be a dangerous game with Teddy Bridgewater. The Dolphins are super talented. They're super talented. I don't give a shit who's at quarterback. They make the game easy for the quarterback. They do. Again, that's what I was trying to explain to people a little bit here. Hey, he did a good job. He put some drives together, but rarely did he really have to make a big throw or anything like that. That's what they're awesome at. They can run the ball, and then, Tyreek here, Waddle over there, Tyreek here, Waddle over there. We only threw the ball 4 or 5 yards down the field, but it stresses you out. And, I think the encouraging thing was the Jets hung in there. They kind of controlled the game, went through some adversity, and all of a sudden you're going, wait, are they really going to, this up a little bit with Skylar Thompson at quarterback? But, what was it, late in the third, early fourth quarter?
It was a close game still.
They started to take control of the game, and that changed things. I want to say it was a missed field goal maybe by the Dolphins, and it was the swing pass to Breece Hall, and the game was never really the same. They scored a touchdown. I'm going to double check this just as I sit here because I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I just want to make sure I am right.
It's funny you mentioned all these weapons too. It's like Breece Hall.
Yes.
97 yards rushing, 100 through the air, that long 79-yarder. And Michael Carter had a pretty good game, too. I mean, they fed him a lot in the running game, couple touchdowns near the goal line. Garrett Wilson, you mentioned. Berrios is a weapon, too, running the ball and catch it. Yeah, it's interesting. They're sneakily a dangerous offensive team.
They are. They have some legitimate people to be scared of. And then when you have a quarterback who's got an arm like that and really makes you defend the whole field, the thing I love about the Jets, too, like they throw the ball outside the numbers down the field. Zach, 20-yard out route, it's there. They're giving it to us. Boom, let's throw it. So that's what's cool. You're right. I think there's a lot to look forward, and I don't even think they're close to kind of hitting on all cylinders yet. That's where you could be excited about the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only the second game for Zach Wilson here. And damn, it's the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins defense was pretty healthy yesterday.
Were they healthy?
There's no Byron Jones.
Yeah. Xavier Howard was
in for a while. Maybe maybe I'm wrong. He might have double check that. I'm not sure for sure.
We're double checking. Pete's all over it.
But either way, it was.
I think he might have been out.
19-17 missed field goal. All right, they go down 7-play drive. He hit a deep out route to Corey Davis that kind of put them in good position. They score a touchdown with Michael Carter. Then defense makes a play. Right? Carl Lawson gets the strip sack, fumbled. So touchdown again. Now it's 33-17. All right. Miami, now they're a little bit desperate. They have 4th and 1 on their own 34-yard line. They go for it, right? Down 16 in the fourth quarter, and that's where the Jets really put it away. And really, that was the Braxton Berrios touchdown that ended it. But I'm excited about what the Jets can bring to the table.
And we didn't really talk about the defense. A couple sacks, forced fumbles, 16 quarterback hits. They had Carl Lawson, who had a strip sack, 7 quarterback hits. John Franklin Myers had 5 quarterback hits.
He's a good player. No, I know. I think when you add him, Shaq Lawson, Quinnen, Jonathan Franklin Myers, who's like a huge, strong side defensive end / defensive tackle, the Jets have the ability to get big and play the run and do that, and they got some guys that can get after the passer for sure. So, big-time win for them. Big time. I know it was a third-string quarterback, but either way, for a young team trying to build, culture, chemistry, all those type of things, here's the Jets, 3-2, and that's what you need as a young team, a little confidence early on in the season, and now they can build on that and maybe start to believe in themselves that they can play with anybody.
Sauce Gardner, you mentioned earlier there, too. So, a little bit dinged up. Dallas.
So Xavier was out. Was Xavier out?
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I think I'm checking it again.
I can't remember a specific play. You're right.
So Dolphins had issues in this one. Dolphins had injury issues on the offensive side, defensive side, but still give the Jets credit. G-Dub 17. Hope that was good enough, right? I think we spent a lot of time, probably the most time we've ever spent on the Jets. There. So I think
it's up there.
It was well deserved, though. A well-deserved victory from the Texans against the Jaguars in a game that was probably not all that fun to watch, maybe for either fan bases. 13-6 was the final score. Texans do get the win, but it was a game where you look at the stats for it. The Jaguars outgained them pretty significantly. There weren't a ton of turnovers. I know Zach had a bad interception.
Trevor. Don't blame it on Zach. Don't blame it on Zach.
Sorry. Trevor had a bad interception by the goal line. There. That was not good. Ever since you praised him, he has taken 2 steps back.
Man, I didn't touch his hands.
It's been unfortunate.
Like Joe Burrow.
But Houston now, they have 9 straight wins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. They figured them out. What'd you think of this game?
I can't even quantify this game all the way. I can't even quantify that. 9 straight wins against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, what the Like, how does that happen? There's been like 24 different coaching staffs there too. It's like it's not like this coaching staff's like, hey, we figured something out about the Jaguars. Here's this special confidential folder, right? Oh wait, it's the idiot Urban Meyer Jaguars, and now it's the smart Doug Peterson Jaguars. You got a file of it? I don't know. It's just amazing. It's just
uniforms
one of those things.
Make it impossible for them to stop this.
I mean, it is kind of like it is odd, and I have a hard time figuring out what exactly happened here. Jacksonville was controlling this football game. When I was watching it, to your point with the stats, and I know stats don't say everything, but man, it just seemed like the Texans were hanging on and moving the ball between the 40s a little bit, right? And in that area. Where Jacksonville seemed to be moving the ball into dangerous territory, always kind of put something together every drive, right? But,
Couple things.
He missed some throws.
0 for 3 in the red zone.
Yes.
Were the Jaguars.
Right.
0 for 1 in goal-to-go situations.
Okay.
And they were 0 for 3 on 4th down.
Okay, so there you go. Right. I know there was a few 4th downs, where they were kind of fringe field goal territory and all that, where they went for it and didn't get it. So that's something I need to go back and look at. But definitely one of those games where I was watching going, well, Jacksonville is clearly the better team. You could see that on the field, but the Texans are another one of those teams that kind of know who they are. They manage the game the right way. And when they don't make mistakes, they don't let up a lot of big plays, and they just wait. Ooh, you made a mistake. Uh-oh, now we're in a game. And, the interception you spoke of with Trevor Lawrence, to me, was the play of the game. That was where, again, not that this was front and center in my attention yesterday, but as I'm sitting there watching other games and paying attention to Jacksonville, I'm going, all right, well, here goes Jacksonville. They're finally going to take control and put, the Texans in a bad spot.
It was the opening drive of the second half. They drive right down if they get that.
Right.
But Derek Stingley, the rookie, right place, makes the pick.
He's a player, too.
Runs out of the end zone, which you shouldn't have done.
Yeah, I know. I love the bravado there, though. That's what corners are supposed to do.
Taking it back.
Yeah, he's going Dion primetime. But Stingley's been really damn good, too. That's one guy that, it looks like I'm going to be wrong about that evaluation in the draft for sure. Looks like the guy that was a freshman at LSU, really. I've been very impressed with him. But, yeah, that was a disappointing win or loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think they're a better football team than that. I think they showed their youth and, inexperience a little bit as a football team overall yesterday. And I'm excited to kind of go back and watch just to get a little bit better feel of how things shook out that way.
To show you how rare this was, they are just the 8th team in NFL history, the Jacksonville Jaguars, with over 400 yards of total offense, over 20 first downs, and yet they just scored 6 points or fewer. So that happens very rarely in the NFL. Happened in this game against the Houston Texans. Give them credit. They scored just enough, thanks in large part to Dameon Pierce and his aggressive running. Maybe my favorite run of the year, the one that got him down to the 1 yard line. He punched it in, I think, a couple plays later. David Martinez says, damn okay to the Texans defense and Dameon Pierce. They are more competitive than I thought they would have been.
They got a lot of good, solid players. They're one of those teams I think that we would classify under they're missing sizzle. That's really what there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of B-plus players on the roster. They don't have guys that can go like a Saquon above and beyond always. There's not enough of them on both sides of the ball. All right. But Dameon Pierce is one of those guys for sure. I mean, he's a bulldozer. That was the run of the day yesterday, right?
Oh my God. It could be the run of the year.
It was pretty damn special, to your point.
In the game, he forced 13 missed tackles on rushes, most by any player in a game this season. And Pete reminds us of that soundbite of him during the draft. Remember that? They asked him, what? How would you describe your running style?
And
he goes,
violent.
I don't run with good intentions.
Yeah, he does not. I mean, that's why he was fun to watch at Florida. People were ducking to get out of the way because he brings it. He really does. He brings a physical nature to their football team. But, yeah, that was a good win for the Texans. Good for them. They get off the schneid, get their first win of the year. Again, I don't think wins are going to be something that we consistently see from that football team for sure. And, it's a thing I want to go back and watch a little bit with Jacksonville and just Doug Peterson. And were they too much in going for it on fourth down? They have had that issue. He's had that issue in the past before. And I do just wonder that a little bit.
There are no winless teams in the NFL anymore.
No more.
Houston got the win, and that was an early damn okay, but now we'll get to the official damn okay.
Damn. I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes.
I'm okay.
The legal gambleizing.
Oh, baby. I am Chris Sims. I'm okay. Damn. Okay.
And we start with the Buffalo Bills beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 38-3. Luke Z. Bytek says, damn okay, not to your guy, Boy Blue, your Boy Blue.
What are you doing?
Could have been.
How dare he?
Gabe effing Davis, he says, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. He's outrunning corners and mossing safeties. Have a day. He did. He ripped that one away from Minkah Fitzpatrick. Could have been an interception. Saved your Boy Blue from an INT right there. Someone had to put it out there for him.
Well, I mean, he threw the ball perfectly. Perfectly.
But Gabe Davis, people thought, can he be another weapon for this team? He certainly can be.
They need him to stay healthy. They need that from him. It takes a little pressure off of him. I mean, him as in Josh Allen and Diggs, that's for sure. They need, you've heard me say this really for 2 years. They need that one other guy that, again, we're talking about a team that's Super Bowl caliber that can just make some plays, above and beyond. It seems to be our phrase of the day here. But I mean, like, damn okay, Gabe Davis, but really damn okay, Josh Allen.
I knew you had it.
I mean, holy shit. I mean, holy crap. I mean, 20 completions for 424 yards? That's like you're playing Madden on the lowest level of the game. Like, I'm going to put it on to where they're slow, and it's like what do they used to call that? Like beginner? I think it's beginner on Madden when you can change the level of play against the computer. Maybe rookie, Pete's saying. It might be. Yeah. It was like he was playing against a rookie defense, and Madden was like, oh, yeah, they don't adjust to the post down the middle ever, so we'll just keep hitting it. But, Gabe Davis, awesome, but 98-yard touchdown pass into the wind. I mean, the announcers are making a deal about the wind before the game starts and how going one way is going to be tough. Not for Josh Allen in Buffalo. He just throws it right through it. And then on that deep pass play that I know you and I talked about last night, the more amazing thing, the 98-yard touchdown, was they double-teamed him. And he ran. It's like they expected him to run like a 15 or 20-yard curl, something intermediate. And it was one of those where he went right between them, and they both kind of looked at each other and was like, wait, he's going by us. And that was that. And I just thought it was their defense, the way the Bills played, not 100%. And then to just come out, and I know Pittsburgh's not like the Pittsburgh defense we're accustomed to seeing, but they're still a pain in the ass and got playmakers, and to just absolutely shred them apart that way.
Yeah,
and that was pretty unbelievable. It really was.
They're not a pain in the rear, the Pittsburgh Steelers, on offense.
No,
though.
they're
And
not.
at JZM the third says, "Would you like to apply for the offensive coordinator position for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No,
Do you want that job?"
I don't want to deal with that right now. Sorry, I'm too happy hanging out with my man here, Ahmed Fareed, doing podcasts.
Jonathan Chewy also says, Chris, on paper, the Steelers have great talent on offense. They just don't seem to perform week to week. Is it the play calling, the players? Is it time to blame Tomlin? This offense is sad to watch. Of course, first start for Kenny Pickett, rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Threw the ball 52 times,
Right.
over 300 yards. No touchdowns for him. But, yeah, what plagues the offense?
Well, I think they got to, they're going to have to figure out how they want to play. And this is where, I know I asked you last week, or I brought this up on the podcast on Wednesday, right? I wondered if they would maybe just go, hey, let's get in the shotgun and let Kenny Pickett throw it every play. A little bit like Pitt. And I'm not so sure after watching yesterday that legitimately is not their best way to play. They still seem to be banging their head against the wall of, we're going to be balanced and run the ball and do that kind of shit early in the football game.
11 carries for Najee Harris, 20 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. It's not going to change. They're not going to be able to do anything ever running the ball.
Is that him? Bad offensive
It's the
line,
bad
run
offensive
blocking?
line. That's where I want to get to our question here, where I just want to go, listen, yeah, there's some talent there at the skill positions. It's just hard, for the skill positions to really show themselves when you're so overmatched up front to that capacity. Again, the Bills pushed a pocket. Kenny Pickett was, people around him getting hit a lot early on in the football game. I'm just not so sure about their approach. They might need to realize what they are for this year, and then they're not Pittsburgh of the past, where they can go, we're going to run the ball and our defense will keep us in it, and we'll just out hit you, and at some point you'll fumble because we'll out hit you, and then we'll win the game some ugly way. I almost feel like they got to go to spread it out, let him dink and dunk, make the right decisions, put the ball on the money, control the clock that way to a degree, wide receiver screens, and, the occasional, okay, now they're playing us up in our face because we're throwing the ball short. I almost feel like they're going to have to do something like that because trying to run the ball early and create some balance and control the line of scrimmage, I feel like they fall into that trap too much. And then I go, we're in the second quarter and the offense hasn't gotten a rhythm yet because we're still worried about we're going to run the ball up the middle with Najee. So that would be one thing that jumps out to me about Pittsburgh. And the defense is not going to get much better. They're not incredibly talented on that side of the ball.
Especially without TJ Watt.
Exactly right.
Just 3 quarterback pressures. They are missing their defensive player of the year for sure. So, yeah, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers forego the run as we move to another team who's leaning more into the run and have for quite a while. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Carolina Panthers 37-15. The damn okay goes to Jeff Wilson in this one, 4th career game with over 100 yards rushing, first time this season. But the big story from this game, breaking news. We have our first firing of the year. Wait, can you do the breaking news? Matt Rhule has been fired as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. That 7-year deal he signed, something like $60-something million. I think he coached 38 games. And
7 years, $63 million. He was making $9 million a year. It was a shocking amount of money for a guy that had not coached in the NFL as a head coach there.
So he'll still make that money just to watch the Carolina Panthers now, although maybe he'll choose to watch another team now. But you're probably not shocked it happened, probably not even shocked at the timing. What do you think of the news?
No, I'm not totally shocked. It looks like they've gotten to a point where, there's no silver lining about them. There's not. And unfortunately, the biggest problem for Matt Rhule has been the inability to find the right guy to run the offense. And I feel bad for Baker Mayfield. You heard me say that probably a few times yesterday because I just go, he's got no chance. They're not very good schematically, and they're not that great physically either in Carolina, to where they can never get anything going that way. So that's to me, that's really where Matt Rhule got killed, is just the inability to have the right offensive mind and the inability to have, maybe that franchise quarterback that they were so desperately looking for. He'll land on his feet somewhere, though. I mean, he was a hell of a college coach. He really is. And I heard a lot of rumors last year, and beyond rumors, I know that if Jim Harbaugh left Michigan, he was going to be one of the lead candidates to be the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He'll end up back in college somewhere like that, but I'm not shocked by the firing. David Tepper seems like a no-nonsense guy. There have shown no signs of they've lost some heartbreakers. They might turn it around. There's been a lot of good. The ball just hasn't bounced their way. No, they've been dominated. They were lucky to be in that game yesterday. They really were. I mean, 49ers, they block a field goal with San Francisco. They had a big kick return to start the third quarter that led to a short field to make it 17-9. But at no point in the football game did you feel like they were in the same class as the 49ers. And the 49ers just absolutely wore them down from kind of that point on. Running the football, Jeff Wilson, he looked good. Tevin Coleman looked good too. Caught a big pass. Kittle healthy. This is where the 49ers, to me, if Jimmy can play somewhat good and not just do dumb things that we've discussed before, here we are in a game like this. They scored 37 points, and Deebo Samuel really wasn't even a factor in the football game. Right. So when they get healthy, that's where they're going to be scary. And I still look at the 49ers, and I know people might think I'm biased because it's my buddy, but I think there's no question in my mind that they are one of the best teams in football, and I think as we continue to go, they will continue to separate themselves and put themselves in that class.
Been able to keep running without Trent Williams there, who got hurt. Victor J. Torres says, any thoughts on the new additions to the 49ers offensive line? Are they trending up? Seems like they're starting to get some cracks of daylight in the run game.
Yes. That's why I know, hey, Trent's going to be back, and I'm not worried about that. But, the other thing, too, is, I know there was a lot of people out there panicked about, their guard situation in the preseason.
Yeah.
And I know a few times I was like, relax. It's preseason football. They're getting used to it. Once Shanahan specifically game plans for teams too, he's going to help his guards out in things that, hey, maybe they're not that good. I'm not going to ask my guy to make that block from that angle. That's too much to ask, right? That doesn't go on in preseason. Sometimes they call plays and they're just like, well, yeah, it's a fucking tough job for the guard. He's just going to have to figure that one out. You get in a regular season game and Shanahan goes, well, damn, I can't ask him to block Derek Brown like that. I got to figure out another way to call another play or fix the run scheme there. So, no, the 49ers, they got it all going from that standpoint, and I'd just be shocked if they didn't continue to get better and better.
Odd stat of the week. The 49ers defense has 8 pick sixes since 2019. That's tied for the most in the NFL. All of them have come against former number 1 overall picks.
That's funny.
How weird is that? Jared Goff.
Right.
Matt Stafford.
Right.
Jameis Winston.
Right.
Baker Mayfield.
That is funny.
Isn't
it really
that crazy?
Is. Right.
I don't think they should try to mess that up. They should know before the game, hey, is this guy a former number 1 pick? And if he's not, you run out at the 1.
Well, I would say there's one thing in common that came to my mind right there with all those, right? You said Goff, Baker, Stafford. Who was the other one?
Jameis Winston.
And
Baker. And yeah, that's the 4.
Just those 4. Well, other than Jameis, I would say the other 3 were they had offensive lines that, can overwhelm you a little bit. That the 49ers could overwhelm their offensive lines. That's to me is the beauty of the 49ers, and I know Nick Bosa came out of the game yesterday with a little bit of a groin pull, I think, or something like that, right? So that's a little concerning, but that's the beauty of the 49ers is they don't have to blitz to get pressure. And I don't believe Eric Armstead even played yesterday either, right? That's what's fucking scary about the 49ers. I mean, it really is. Trent Williams not playing. Eric Armstead's not playing. Nick Bosa, he came out somewhere in the middle of the football game. Yeah. Doesn't even matter. They're special that way. And, hey, between Hufanga on the defensive side of the ball at safety and then Charvarius Ward at corner, that's out of enough. They haven't had a corner like him the last few years. A guy with a little size, speed, can play the ball, So between him and then the nice pick 6 with Emmanuel Mosley, that was a good day. The 49ers, it's, to me, the best defense in football. If you made me go, hey, Chris, you could take any defense you want, who's it going to be? And I'm talking about players and scheme together. I'm taking the 49ers. DeMeco Ryans deserves to be in this next head coaching conversation type of guy there. And, offensively, I just think it's a matter of time before they really kind of start to go into another gear and kind of establish themselves as one of the better offenses in football, too.
And they just need to be good enough there. Charvarius Ward, you mentioned him. He had 4 pass breakups in the game. He has 8 this season, second in the NFL behind Trayvon Diggs, who has 9 right now. So 49ers are rolling. The Chargers got another win. Was a little dicey late in the game. Damn okay going to Austin Eckler, who has shown up here in the season. The big storyline early on, all those people who took Austin Eckler high in their fantasy draft, they're like, he's not getting in the end zone. What's going on? 3 touchdowns last week. He had 2 this past just yesterday. So he's got 5 now in the last 2 weeks. It was Nick Chubb versus Austin Eckler, mano-y-mano. We love Nick Chubb on this podcast.
Yes, we do.
I think we have a graphic on how they did head-to-head in this game. Eckler versus Chubb. It was a close game.
Yeah.
Chubb had 134 rushing yards. Eckler, I didn't realize he had that many, 173.
Well, he broke a 71-yard run.
So that'll help.
Well, and to your point, Eckler's a really good football player, but Nick Chubb is the marquee guy. Austin Eckler's the afterthought, right? And I don't mean that to be disrespectful.
Afterthought?
Well, he's not what your enemy number one you're worried about when you're playing the Chargers.
That's true.
Right? All right, that's all I'm saying. I know he's a really good player. I'm not trying to say that at all. Nick Chubb is like the guy that everybody's worried about when they play the Cleveland Browns.
Eckler's going to put that on his Twitter, though.
Yeah.
Afterthought.
Afterthought from Sims.
Yeah.
Fuck Sims. All right,
But I get it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
All right, so the Chargers had this one. They got out to that 14-3 lead early. Browns stayed in it. Jacoby Brissett made some plays through that pick late in the game where they were just down 2, and they could have kicked a field goal. But then they got the ball back after the Chargers went for it on 4th and 2 in their own end. And as soon as that happened, probably everyone who has listened to this podcast, myself included,
Right.
thought of you and what you were doing at that moment. Like, I wasn't with you when that happened.
You weren't in there at that moment?
Not yet. No, I was still doing my horse racing thing. So when Brandon Staley with how much time was left?
A minute and I'm going to say 30 something. I can look it up real quick and get to it here in a hurry. I'll beat you to it. It was a minute and 14 left. A minute and 14.
And they're up to at their own 45.
Their own 45. All week to come up with a gotta-have-it play, and we run my favorite thing. 3 steps and run in. That's what I came up with this week. We paid the offensive staff $30 million. I came up with this guy run a slant route in the big situation against a really good corner. Gosh, I'm good. Woo! Yes, pay me another $30 million, owner. I designed the single slant on the backside for us to win the game. That's what I came up with in the biggest moment of our year. Like, first off, I don't agree with the call. All right? I don't agree with it. Kick the fucking ball down in the end zone or down close to their goal line. Make them drive the football field. This is one of those games where you come away, and I don't feel better about either team, I guess, to kind of tell you or say that.
Sure.
First off, I'm disappointed in the Chargers. They're better than how they look. Their talent's better. Their defense should be more dominant. There's no other way to say it. The fact that the ball and people are running on them still here, it's the second year in a row that they cannot even begin to even fathom stopping a running offense. That stinks. That's concerning. And then offensively, hey, Eckler had a good day yesterday, but I don't look at it and go, oh, well, they're going to be able to consistently run the ball. No, I just go, well, it's Cleveland. They're a fucking disaster on defense too. So they ran the ball on them, but it doesn't make me feel better about the Chargers' run game going forward. So I guess that's where I'm disappointed with the Chargers altogether. Is it's a lot on Justin Herbert and them making it happen, and Cleveland. It was a good game. It certainly was. They need more plays from their pass game. Yeah. And the biggest moment, more than anything, was Jacoby Brissett throwing the interception late down in the end zone there. He makes a nice play, escapes, and really a horrible decision right there when they were down 30-28. The field goal puts you ahead. You just can't make that throw or even think about that type of throw in that situation. You got to protect the ball to have the chance to take the lead and then let your defense hopefully close it out.
Still had a chance to win it, though, because they only needed 10 yards, and that's what they got to get a 54-yard attempt from Cade York, but he missed that field goal, so the Chargers did hang on. And, yeah, after the game, Brandon Staley said he went for it because he had faith in his defense and getting a hold, but then both you and I were like, well, if you got faith in your defense, you punt it, and you
Right.
figure, they're not going to get in field goal range. They only needed 10 yards to get into field goal range.
They
but
exactly
it didn't make
right. It
sense.
made no sense. And then he
Actually,
and he tried.
The analytics said to punt it too.
Did they?
Also, yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Number supported punting there.
Holy,
Yeah.
whoa!
He went anti-analytics.
Whoa! All right,
should've.
and I know his one point was like, well, we knew they had to throw it. Why did you know they had to throw it? Like they could have ran the ball up the middle one time for 15 yards and then spiked the ball. I mean, there wasn't. So some of the reasoning made no sense. It shows you he's got no confidence. I don't understand some of the game management there by either one of these coaches at times. That's why this game was it was crazy. It really was. And the Browns to go up the way they were, be up 14-0, right? And then that was when Eckler broke the 71-yard run. The Chargers had to settle for a field goal, right? Then it's the Browns, I think, go 3 and out or 5 and out, and it's a big pass to Mike Williams, and all of a sudden, whoa, okay, it's 14-10, and then it's right down the field. The Browns go for it on a 4th and 1, down close, to scoring, and get stopped, and the Chargers go on a 99-yard drive to score a touchdown in the second quarter. And it's just, the game was all over the place. And it's hard to get a feel for those two teams, I guess is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was a game that came down to the end. The upset almost happened. Browns almost got the win. They could not. Eckler, Chubb went off. Derek Henry went off. Speaking of great running backs against the Washington
wrong there,
Commanders.
too. They punted the ball down into the 1-yard line. My bad. Sorry.
We'll edit
One
that
more
out.
thing.
We'll edit that out. Colombo returns. Damn okay goes to Derek Henry, goes over 100 yards once again, couple touchdowns. They gave him the ball 28 times. They pounded out a win, the Tennessee Titans, although Carson Wentz and the Commanders had a chance late in this one. Couple passes at the goal line. I don't think you really loved the plays at the end of the game.
Well, it was
Washington.
jamming it in an area of like, whoa, there's a lot of people in there, right?
Yep.
And it just seemed like, it was everybody over the middle, and there's 10 guys over the middle for the Tennessee Titans. And, they weren't easy throws or ever a clear passing lane for Carson Wentz to, kind of put the ball in a spot where his guys could get it and nobody could get it.
Here's the weird thing. This is a weird stat.
Yeah.
Tennessee is the first team to not score a fourth quarter point through 5 games since the 2005 49ers. They were 1-4. The Tennessee Titans are 3-2. It's working for them.
It is, a little bit like we talked about the Eagles a little bit. Like the Titans seem to be one of those teams that runs out of tricks in the second half too.
Yeah.
It is a few times this year where you go, hey, they're running the ball good in the first half, and whoa, they got a few good screen passes to Derek Henry, and they even had one to Hilliard for a touchdown in the running back after faking a run to Derek Henry. And then, you go, the play action pass is working. Here they go. But, the second half, it seems to like they kind of run into a buzzsaw. The run game slows down. Therefore, the play action pass slows down. And they just don't have a whole lot of answers. They don't after that. Really the play that they threw the big pass to, Westbrook Akine, the 61-yarder when they were down 17-14, that kind of saved the day. And then ultimately, really the story of the day was, I felt like once again was really more the Titans. I don't know what the numbers ended up showing, but again, I never felt like the Commanders had any chance of doing really much of anything other than Carson Wentz was going to have to make it happen with big throws.
The Commanders significantly outgained the Titans in this game. 385 total yards for the Commanders, 241 for the Titans.
Yeah, that's
interesting. They did make some big plays, did the Washington Commanders, including
Brown?
a guy. Yes, exactly. Jacob Willens says, I remember Chris Sims giving high praise to De'Ami Brown coming out of the draft. It took some time, but the breakout game is finally here. Kid is a stud.
We'll see if he can continue that. But that's kind of what I expected to see from the guy.
That's what he did at North Carolina, right? With Sam Howell, those deep, long, just
exactly
go
right.
routes.
Post route, go route. He could fly. Maybe this kind of gives him some confidence and get going, from here. And Jahan Dotson was out. He had to take over that role. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I think the encouraging thing for Washington was their D-line was really this, like, to me, after those first few drives, man, it felt like their D-line just whooped the shit out of the Tennessee Titans up front.
5 sacks.
Yeah, it is. Montez Sweat was everywhere. Tannenhill was getting hit a whole lot. So, again, I feel good about the Titans. Not great, though. I don't know if they're going to be able to, they're not going to be able to recapture number 1 seed, number 2 seed in the AFC playing this way right now. I still think the same issues we're talking about are real. Like, defense is good, but I don't think it's great. And I think if you have a team that can protect the passer a little bit and all of that, that you can carve up the Titans in the secondary. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it's just, as we talked about, especially with no Treylon Burks, there's no other thing to worry about. It's Derrick Henry, and once that slows down, it seems to trickle effect where everything slows down, and I don't know if that's sustainable to be a dominant team in the AFC, at least not this year.
I got a nickname for Carson Wentz.
What?
I just thought of it.
What is it?
Wentz coin.
Wentz coin?
Like Bitcoin?
Like Bitcoin, but Wentz coin? Right. Like
highly volatile.
Low, yeah.
Can shoot up.
Yeah.
Double your money. You also could go to zero.
You could. Well, and again, I know a lot of people probably be like, oh, Carson Wentz, they didn't win yesterday and blah, blah, blah. But, like, come on. They don't have a lot there to help him. It's all about them throwing the ball and him making plays. He's to me, one of the least concerning things about their team, through 5 games.
You think that'll catch on? Wentz coin?
Wentz coin? No, I don't.
Not that catchy.
You've had better. You've had better.
It doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm going to think of one that rhymes.
Yeah.
I'll workshop that.
Like his
again.
old one in when he was in Philadelphia, it was Pennsylvania, right?
That's pretty good.
That was a good one.
All right,
right?
well, I'll keep working on that
Right.
one. So De'Ami Brown has shown up.
Yep.
That's good for you.
It is good for me.
Taysom Hill showed up again
Ooh.
for the New Orleans Saints in the highest scoring game of the week in the NFL. Damn okay goes to Taysom Hill, one of 3 players since 1950. That's as far back as Pete goes.
We've established that.
Checking.
50 is over.
One of 3 players since 1950 with 3 or more rushing touchdowns, 100 or more rushing yards, a pass TD in a single game. Ronnie Brown did it in 2008. LaDainian Tomlinson did it in 2005. Ooh.
Wow.
But yeah, Taysom Hill basically took over this game, and they needed all of them too, because the Seahawks and Geno Smith were slicing and dicing that Saints defense. But give credit to Taysom Hill. What you make of this crazy game?
I mean, it was a crazy game. I think the first thing is I would have never expected Seattle to make that many big plays on New Orleans defense. Yeah. I was a little surprised by that, and to run the ball the way they did too. Poor Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
Damn, I feel bad for him.
Do we know how severe that is?
I think he broke his fibula or tibula.
Oh.
It's one of the major ones there. He's done for the year. And that stinks because he was kind of emerging as one of the better running backs in football. Now, good thing they got Kenneth Walker, and he showed what he can do on that 69-yard touchdown run. But I think the big thing, the big takeaway is that, and you heard me say this last night, it's the best game they've had on offense the whole year. I know the Seahawks defense is not very good, but the bigger picture thing is that Taysom Hill and what he can do for the offense has got to be a part of their overall scheme on a week-to-week basis. They're not good enough right now. They don't have enough Sean Payton's ability to dissect defenses and call the right plays and all that to where they need another element to help them out. And, you see once you get him going, it kind of feeds itself. And then Alvin Kamara gets going, and you're not relying on Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton to have to win the football game. So I like that element. I mean, Taysom Hill is super talented, and that was definitely one of the more creative games I've seen on the Saints this year, for sure. It was the most creative game.
That's cool that even without Sean Payton, they're still leaning into Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can work. And we have some next-gen dots of his 60-yard game-winning touchdown. Kristen, do we have the dots to show you? There it is. Roll the tape. Roll. I don't know. 27 in white here. So that's Tariq Woolen.
Flies.
He reached a top speed
of
22.93 miles per hour in pursuit of Taysom Hill, the fastest speed by any runner since Raheem Mostert in Week 2 of 2020.
I'm not sure.
Almost got him.
I'm not. He did get him. He just didn't tackle him the right way, and he let the momentum go. I mean, I don't know if you were in the room when that went on. I mean, I was sitting there like, holy shit! Did you see Tariq Woolen? I mean, he walked him down from straight behind. He ran a 4.2 at the combine. He's real that way. He is. But, yeah, it looked like he was flying about as fast as I've seen. And Raheem Mostert, Week 2, that was what, 49ers versus New York Jets?
Screen?
Right?
Was it a screen?
I think it was
something?
a toss play to start the game where Shanahan exposed Greg Williams' run defense a little bit.
Chris going into the memory bank.
Going to the memory. Weed does not wipe away all your memory. Yes, just some of it.
Fletcher Mackel,
Yeah.
a sports anchor in New Orleans,
Yeah.
asks a question to you.
Yeah.
We have a chance to make the news in New Orleans right here, Chris.
What?
He goes, in my opinion, the Saints need to lean into Taysom as the starting quarterback. What are your thoughts?
Ooh. I've always been a little bit in favor of that. I don't know. I'm going to say no. I just would like them to see used more in this kind of role right here. I do think Taysom Hill had the ability to play quarterback. Obviously there was something there Sean Payton didn't want to go with. I think there's probably some, consistency in his throwing that probably misses that Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton are better at. But if you add him with the Wildcat and line him up next to the quarterback every now and then, run the football, with him at the quarterback position, I think it, certainly can present some problems for other defenses. That's for sure. But I don't know. I think it's too late now. I'd want to just go, hey, we when we get Michael Thomas back, we want a quarterback that can, deliver the ball to Landry and Olave and Michael Thomas and all that, and then you can add that into the mix there. That's where I'd go, ooh, you got something there for sure. So, this is a game I want to go back and watch so I can digest it all. It was cool by the Saints for sure. But, man, the Seahawks did some dumb shit too.
Ooh.
I mean, the punter, remember that play?
The rugby punt where he just decided not
he was
to
going to
punt.
run, and I'm going to run. I think I'm Saquon Barkley. No, you're not. You're the punter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that set up a short touchdown. I know DK Metcalf had the fumble when they were backed up at one point. This game was all over the place. It really was. It was
Geno.
big plays.
Don't
and a
blame
lot of fun.
Geno though.
Geno was amazing.
Geno
Again.
more like GS.
GS.
Right? I just thought of that.
Yeah. Wow. You're quick.
Actually, Pete thought of that. And then you said it on Football Night in America.
I did, yeah, I know. He's playing really good football, and I hope everybody can finally see it and back off a little bit and go, Geno does have talent. Maybe, we shouldn't judge him off when he was just with the shitty Jets when he was in the second year of his career. So good for him, but yeah, that was some sort of offensive explosion type of football game.
Offensive explosion for the Minnesota Vikings early against the Chicago Bears, although the Bears came back and took the lead late in this game. The damn okay. We're going to give it to Kirk Cousins, though, because when it was at the end of the game, they needed some plays. He came through. He did complete his first 17 passes, so started out hot, too. That's a Vikings.
17 for 17. Justin Jefferson had like 100 yards in the first half, didn't he? I mean,
138 and 10 catches in the first half.
And that's insane. It was unstoppable, really, for the majority of the first half, to where you just went, wow, they're just going to march up and down the field on them. Holy cow. Anything else you want to say there?
That was it. No, I mean, the Bears came back. I don't know exactly how they did that.
Well, I can explain it a little bit. So, I know it's 21-3, right? Pretty sure they had a good kick return, got him around midfield, and then he threw a deep pass down the left sideline to Darnell Mooney, and Mooney made an incredible catch, and that set them up to make it 21-10, and then they got the ball to start the second half, third quarter, and they went on a good drive where Fields made some nice throws and they scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, whoa, it's 21-16.
Yeah.
And then I believe Kirk Cousins threw an interception not far after that, and that took it to 21-19. I might be a drive off there, but either way, that's pretty much, somewhere in that range. But this goes back to our conversation we were having earlier. It's just like, here's a team that was kind of controlling the football game, but all of a sudden, one team kind of puts a drive together. They go into halftime, they get the ball again, and all of a sudden you look up and go, well, damn, they've scored, 13 unanswered, and here we are in a football game, even though we've controlled it. And, credit to the Bears for hanging around. They seem to be good at this type of football, hanging around, but can't quite seem to pull it out when it's all said and done.
Yeah, you can't point to a whole lot bad for the Vikings here. They were 12 of 15. They converted 80% of their third downs. They were perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone. Over 400 total yards. But yeah, they just couldn't put the Bears away. They made it close late. But the Vikings are 4-1 now, and I'm feeling pretty good about that pick.
You should be. They're one of those teams, a little like the Giants, where I just go, I'm not sure how good they are yet.
Yeah,
they're kind of winning the games they should win. I think that's the better way to put it. And I think there's more talent, I think, maybe on their team than the New York Giants. But I am interested to see how long this is sustained, right? because it's not like they're these huge confidence, like where I look at them and go, ooh, they're really dominant in this area or that. They've been fortunate, or hey, they played the Saints, they beat your Lions. Your Lions did some dumb crap. The Bears, I'll be interested to see through this next stretch of Dolphins, Cardinals. They got Buffalo, the Cowboys, the Patriots coming up here in the next 6 weeks, and so that's when I think we'll get a real good feel for how real Minnesota is.
I mean, even more reason to be happy with being 4-1 if your talent's not quite there, but you've just eked out some victories early.
Yeah, to set some cushion,
bank.
put some cushion for yourself.
Some
That's
cushion
right.
There.
Yeah.
2 more games. We're going to treat those newspaper style.
Okay.
It is time for Give Me the Headlines, presented by Hyundai. We'll start with the Buccaneers beating the Falcons, another one of those games where it seemed like it was over, and then the Falcons make it a game late and really could have made it a game, but there was a penalty late in this game. What's your headline for this game,
Oh,
Chris?
it's back. Nothing the passer. Don't touch Tom Brady. He's an artifact.
Yeah.
I mean, I could come up. What a fucking horrible call.
Yeah.
That would be the other headline. Like, referee, we didn't come here to see you dictate who wins. Headline part 7.
You calling out Jerome Boger?
I am. It's 2 pitiful calls by him in the last 2 weeks.
Uh-oh.
There was a pitiful call in the Ravens-Buffalo game, and it was a pitiful call yesterday. So the Buccaneers, again, for the most part, controlled the football game. I think the interesting thing is that it was the first game where I felt like they just came out and said, the hell with running the ball. We're not going to be balanced.
I know what happened here. So here's his pass attempts for Tom Brady.
Yeah, let me hear it.
27, and then it went up to 34. Then it went up to 42, and then it went to 52 last week against the Chiefs, and it was 52 this week again. What's happening?
I'm guessing they've kind of just given up on that formula. That's really all I can really, come up with there. I think they've just said, let's put the ball in Tom's hands. We got a pretty good receiving crew. He completes a lot of passes. It keeps the clock moving anyways. And, Tom and the offense are in a rhythm that way. It's another game where it felt like one team was clearly better than the other team. And then the Bucs punt the ball. There's a good punt return by Atlanta. They have the ball on that side of the field with the Bucs down 21-0. They score a touchdown. It's 21-7. They get the ball back. They go on a long, ugly drive, and they get the 2-point conversion, and now it's 21-15. You're going, holy shit. Like, the Bucs were controlling the game, and here we are. Like, if they don't drive down here and put the game away, Atlanta's going to have the ball. And Atlanta should have had the ball.
With 4.5 minutes left.
Until nothing the passer struck. Illegal talking to the quarterback too mean. Mm-hmm. Illegal, you tackled the quarterback too hard. And again, the thing that bothers me is, it's rarely called on the freaky quarterbacks. I know that Josh Allen got it last week, and that was a horrible call too. But I don't understand what you're supposed to do. And I know me and Tony Dungy were both going crazy. What was Grady Jarrett supposed to do? Is he supposed to let Tom Brady go? Is that what they want? I'm tackling you, but I'm in the act of tackling you too hard, so let me let you go. Is that where we're at right now? I mean, is that really where they're at? And the NFL hasn't come out and said anything yet, which tells me that they know they're wrong. And that's I hate it. Yeah. And Pete's saying this is Jerome Bogert's MO. Yeah, he's way too protective of the quarterbacks. And that's just unfortunate. It really is. I would have loved to have seen that game get tight and seen if Atlanta could have done something and drove down and made that interesting.
If Leonard Fournette is being taken out of the running game for the Bucs, he's being introduced into the passing game. 10 catches, led the team with 83 yards. It was a weird game weird week for wide receivers because I think a lot of tight ends led their team in receiving yards. Andrews did for the Ravens, and Njoku, I think, for Cleveland. Goddard for Philly.
Yeah.
Here he had Fournette out of the
backfield, yeah.
Strange week for some wide receivers, but yeah, nothing the passer was.
No, not a lot of big plays. Now, obviously, that's
No.
Atlanta did something there to limit that aspect. And, I think Atlanta, with a little bit, they have some size up front on the defensive line. I think they probably were like, you know what, we can hang in there in the run game with Fournette and company. Let's just not let, big plays to Evans and Godwin consistently blow us up throughout the football game. And, it was a little bit of the dink and dunk fest by Tampa Bay. But, Tampa Bay still not playing their best football. And it's to the point where I guess it worries me a little bit. Like, where a few weeks ago, well, okay, they'll get it together. But here we are. It's 3-2. None of the wins have looked that great. And, of course, they've had some losses where, hey, they got a little unlucky against the Packers, but were dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs. I guess what I'm saying is I'm on the fence where to start the year I would have gone Tampa's the cream of the crop in the NFC. Right now I'm going, are they going to be the cream of the crop, or am I going to continue to be going, they're the cream of the crop? I think they're the cream of the crop for 5 more weeks here. That's where I'm a little in between about them right now.
They got the Steelers coming up this week.
Win.
They got the Carolina Panthers after that. So
Win.
maybe that'll get them right.
That helps
get them right.
Yep.
The Detroit Lions, they've got an explosive offense, or so I thought. They take on the Patriots, and they lose. They get shut out 29-0. Your headline for this game.
Don't worry. Be Zappe. Look at this shit. We're gonna give all the credit to the quarterback. All the credit to the quarterback.
You just gave.
I know,
with your headline.
What I did. We saw a sign during the telecast, and we copied it for the headline segment here.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you, fan. Thank
you,
sign.
fan in New England that made that sign. That's exactly right.
What in the world did Bill Belichick do here? He just totally shut out the top scoring offense in the NFL. Now, who knows that it was Seahawks last week, and clearly they gave up a ton of points to the Saints this week too. So,
numbers lie. Again, this is another thing where numbers don't tell the whole story.
But they should have scored more than 0.
Yes, they should have.
What'd they do?
Well, I think the big thing more than anything is this was a game, and you heard me say this last night. I mean, Dan Campbell bit his own kneecap off in this one. I don't just too much going for it. 4th down. It's the New England Patriots. It's Bill Belichick. I don't know. They go for it on the first drive of the game on their own side of the field, and hey, Bailey Zappe. Hey, you want some confidence? Here's a short field to just get things going, and you just 1 first down. You guys can kick a field goal, and you can be up 3-0. All right, and then it's 6-0, and now you're in field goal position. It's 6-0 against the Patriots and Bailey Zappe, and you go for it on 4th and 9. What? You're moving the ball. So there you're moving the ball. They're not shutting you out. Get some points. Get some confidence in the game. Pin Bailey Zappe back after the kickoff after you make the field goal. But instead we go for it on 4th and 9, and Jared Goff, I don't know what he was doing. He gets strip sacked, and now they pick it up, and it's 13-0. Let alone in between there, you drove down when it was 3-0.
Don't put this on me.
No, it's you. It's your
fucking
team. I'm the G-men. You're the Lions, okay? Let alone it's 3-0. You drive down the field, and again, the offense is moving well. Jared Goff throws a horrible interception, right? So that to me was the story of the game, was just that you gave them like false confidence and momentum early on in the football game by your coaching decision. And then the other part of that is your defense is not good, as you know, and they controlled the line of scrimmage running the ball. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was run. Hey, here's a guy wide open for Bailey Zappe to hit. Run. Here's a guy wide open for Bailey Zappe to hit. And just like he did in the Green Bay game last week, he wasn't asked to do a whole lot. Hey, we got a one-on-one matchup, throw a go route. If not, we got to play here. Here's a guy wide open over the middle, and that's all you got to do. And it was a great job by him.
In the Bill Belichick era, so that's since the year 2000, New England is a perfect 5-0 with quarterbacks drafted after the first round making their first career start. The rest of the NFL has a record of 30-80, so very rare, bucking the trend. They leaned on the running game, as you mentioned. Ramondre Stevenson, 25 rush attempts, 161 yards. Now, Damian Harris had to leave the game with an injury, so it was all on Stevenson. He looked awesome. But on the defensive side, too, Matt Judon, a couple sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and Jack Jones, an interception, 2 passes defensed. D. Cromwell says, Jack Jones, baller. How on earth do the Pats keep finding these elite DBs?
Yeah, because, well, 1, they got an eye for it. 2, they know how to coach them up, all right? 3, this is like J.C. Jackson part 2, right? And, Pete, you might have to look this up for me. I might get this wrong here. Because J.C. Jackson was at North Carolina and then transferred to Maryland. I believe I got that right. I'm just going off the top of my head here. But he was a top recruit, right, coming out of high school. He got in trouble at his first school and had to transfer. Jack Jones' story is very similar. Top recruit, went to USC. I don't know exactly what happened, but then he had to transfer to Arizona State.
J.C. Jackson
Oh, it was
started
Florida.
at Florida, and then went to a city college.
Then went to a community college, then Maryland. Right.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm saying is the Patriots are smart, and they go, wait, this guy was a 5-star recruit, and he played early as a USC player, and they keep their eye on you.
He was a 3-year starter.
Right.
Was Jack Jones
Right.
at 3 different schools over a 6-year college career.
Whoa.
So how old is he?
So there was some issues there.
Yeah,
and
he's 24.
But they kept their eye on him. There was a talent they liked, and that's where they're good. And then they, everybody else is, I don't know, I'm scared of this guy. I don't know. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? And they do their due diligence, and they go, yeah, there's a problem. We love him, and we're taking him in the 4th round.
Hey, you guys have
now
a problem.
Now you have a problem.
You have a problem.
And they got an eye for that. And then they know how to coach, that way. And then, again, it's a game too where your offensive line couldn't dominate them. They got some big people there. And then it became like, okay, here comes the passing game. And, I don't know how healthy Amon-Ra St. Brown was and all of that, but
not explosive.
it just seemed like they pressured Goff and they were kind of all over some of the schemes and patterns down the field. And they just slowly wore your football team down. After they got a 13-0 lead, it was defense and run the ball and just will kick field goals. And they kind of played that game and wore the Lions out.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown played just 21 snaps in the game.
Yeah, it
so
didn't
not
look like
100%
I didn't think
healthy.
he was, right.
Swift was out. And it sucks that I have to take ownership of this, but them the breaks when you grow up in Michigan.
That's right.
And are a Lions fan your whole life. And that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. We finish with the final game of the week, our BetMGM parlay preview. Monday Night Football, AFC West, Raiders at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 7.5. Over and under is 52, so should be a high-scoring game. Chris, who are you going with in this one?
I'm taking the Chiefs, of course. I picked the Chiefs to win 35-24. I will say this. Here's some just elements that scare me. Josh McDaniels knows Steve Spagnuolo in that defense, right? He's got a history of whether it's the Chiefs, and then, of course, he had to deal with them in the Super Bowl, so he knows, and so I do worry about, him having a game plan to where maybe he slowly picks apart the Chiefs' defense. But I think ultimately what worries me is I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball consistently. I don't know if they'll be able to pass protect consistently against this Chiefs front, which I think is damn good, right? But that's just the worry, right? I'm obviously picking the Chiefs. And on the other side of the ball, it's kind of the same thing. Patrick Graham, New England guy, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see Kansas City early on, like trying to find its way. Wait, how are they attacking us? What are they doing here? But ultimately, I don't think the Raiders, you've heard me say this enough times, don't have enough like top-end talent guys on the defensive side of the ball to where I think they're going to be able to stop Mahomes and everybody. And if, Mahomes and Kansas City continue to be patient, short passing game, have enough actual plays for the short passing game, I find them to be they'll be unstoppable like Josh Allen and the Bills. There's nothing you're going to be able to do, and I'm hoping to see more of that from the Chiefs tonight.
Yeah,
I really am.
To win the game, you probably got to stop Travis Kelce if you're the Raiders. Now, here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
The over-under, the prop bets, Davante Adams, 75.5 is the over-under.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, 74.5. Who do you think has more yards receiving in this game, Adams or Kelce?
I'm going to go Adams. I'm going to go Adams on this one. I think the element about, Kansas City will double here and there, but they're not going to live on the double world all the time. And I do think there's an element of they might double Darren Waller in some situations and go, wait, we're not going to let him run down the middle of the field on us. I got to think New England, Patrick Graham, Josh McDaniels, they're going to go into this and be like, anybody beat us but Kelce. Let's see if Juju can beat us. Let's see if McCole Hardman can beat us. But they're gonna double Kelce, I would think. So then from that like standpoint, I would think Adams has more of the day this night than Kelce, and Kelce's almost more of the decoy, attracting attention and opening up the field for everybody else.
So maybe you might bet the under on 74.5 for Travis Kelce.
I might. Ooh. I would. I mean, that's always scary with that crew there. That's for sure, because it only takes like 2 or 3 throws, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, here they go.
Yeah. Well, 3 throws, it's already over.
Yeah.
The action never stops at BetMGM. You can sign up now using the bonus code SIMS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000, Chris.
So say you bet $100 on the Raiders to pull off the upset.
Okay.
If you win, $275 you get. But if you lose, you still get $100 worth of free bets.
Yes. You never lose gambling. That's what we'd like to say to you. No, our lawyers don't want us to say that. But yes, in this specific
it's less
promo,
of a loss here.
In this specific promo, you can. Yeah, participation is optional. Pete is yelling in my ear. Simply download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com and enter the bonus code SIMS to make your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. And
woo, 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 woo.
Chris will cover any losses that you incur in your gambling
That's
career.
right. Put it on my tab.
All right, that's it. We did it.
We did it.
We fulfilled our promise to the homies.
We did. We were probably too long as always, but that's what we do. I think that was about an hour and 40 minutes, but I don't know. Once we get going, it's hard to stop us. It really is.
You get rolling.
All right.
And we didn't hit the Thursday night game, so we got to spend 20 minutes to do that.
Oh,
Kristen,
yeah,
keep rolling
that
here.
great
I'm just
game
kidding.
right there.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
anybody that watched our stuff last week, they saw what we talked about. Russell Wilson is not throwing to the open guy. There's open guys, and he's not throwing it. I don't know what else to say. Check in on Wednesday. I'll have more to say about it, okay? All right, Wednesday, it's treasure hunting time. It's the What the Fuck Happened Wednesday podcast. We'll be back then. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. Ahmed, rest up. We're going to need you for Wednesday. That's what we do.
Yes.
You the man, Ahmed. Thanks for driving the ship as always.
did it again.
All right, everybody. Have a good few days. Enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll see you Wednesday. Clap it up. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my Unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Peace out.